Kash Patel.
It's official.
It's official. I love this guy. You guys, I am so freaking excited about this guy. The FBI is so rogue. Everybody knows it. And he's going to solve that problem. I really, truly believe he's going to solve it. And there are a lot.
If he's confirmed. Like, do we think he's going to get confirmed?
God, I hope so.
Because there's a lot of people that are not happy.
Right. We've got several clips. So we can just start with the first one. Here's the first one of just him talking about the FBI and whatnot.
The problem the FBI has come out of its intel shops. I'd break that component out of it. I'd shut down the FBI Hoover building on day one and reopening the next day as a museum of the deep state. And I'd take the 7,000 employees that work in that building and send them across America to chase down criminals. Go be cops. You're cops. Go be cops. Go chase down murderers and drug dealers and violent offenders. What do you need 7,000 people there for? Same thing with DOJ. What are all these people doing here? Looking for their next government promotion, looking for their next fancy government title, looking for their parachute out of government. So while you're bringing in the right people, you also have to shrink government.
I love that.
And he's not wrong, but you're right. This is why a lot of people will be like, I don't want him to do it because they're afraid of somebody like him that's going to come in and be a disruptor.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
but all the people there's so many people that are like, he's not qualified. You look at this guy's resume. There's no better resume to have as a prospect of a head of the FBI than Kash Patel's resume. So the people that are trying to say he's unqualified they're just hateful jerks that are just mad that he's the pick.
Comey and Wray didn't work at the FBI before they actually worked at the FBI. So F you. You know what I mean? Like, this is the thing. This whole he's never worked there, so he shouldn't have this position. Whatever. I don't care.
It needs to be an outsider. I think that makes it he's even more qualified.
Exactly. And all the things that he just said about going in there and all these people that are there just to get the cush jobs and to get the, the payouts or whatever, they're there for the wrong reasons. And I love what he's talking about, how many people are in there and that don't need to be there. Mm-hmm. Like, what exactly do you do here?
I know he's like not just the FBI director pick, but also kind of doji.
Yeah.
So it's like he brings that Doge attitude to the role.
Yeah. And I love how he wants to declassify stuff. And that's what this clip is about.
Kash, I know you're probably going to be head of the CIA, but do you believe that you can deliver the goods on this in a pretty short order the first couple of months so we can get rolling on prosecutions?
Yes, we got the bench for it, Bannon, and you know those guys. I'm not going to go out there and say their names right now so the radical left-wing media can terrorize them. But, excuse me, the one thing we learned in the Trump administration the first go-around is we got to put in all America patriots top to bottom. And we got them for law enforcement. We got them for intel collection. We got them for offensive operations. We got them for DOD, CIA, everywhere. And the one thing we will do that they never will do is we will follow the facts and the law and go to courts of law and correct these justices and lawyers who have been prosecuting these cases based on politics and actually issuing them as lawfare. We will go out and find the conspirators, not just in government, but in the media. Yes, we're going to come after the people in the media who lied about American citizens, who helped Joe Biden rig presidential elections. We're going to come after you. Whether it's criminally or civilly, we'll figure that out. But yeah, we're putting you all on notice. And Steve, this is why they hate us. This is why we're tyrannical. This is why we're dictators, because we're actually going to use the Constitution to prosecute them for crimes they said we have always been guilty of, but never have.
Oh, damn.
Oh, damn.
I know. I love it so much. God, he has to make it through.
We'll see.
Because it will just change everything in this country. It'll make
but
it
also, because Christopher Wray is the current director and like he has a term or whatever. I mean, I know Trump can fire him and he obviously intends to, but that's the other thing, right? Like people are bitching about the fact that Christopher Wray, there's no reason to fire him. He's in the midst of a term, blah, blah, blah. And there's so many arguments about Kash Patel that I'm hearing, just like they are about every single cabinet pick. Like people are upside down with everyone that he has chosen. Everyone.
Well, they're upside down because it's a reckoning at this point.
Mm-hmm. You guys, if you haven't gotten a free risk assessment from our friend Zach Abraham at Bulwark Capital Management, why would you not do that? Like, it doesn't matter if you already have a retirement plan, if you already have a financial portfolio, if you already have a financial advisor, why would you not treat this like you need a second opinion? Second opinions are really, really important, because you want to have different perspectives of people who are looking at how you're saving so far and telling you, here's what you might consider doing differently. Here's what I might add. Here's what I might subtract. And so there's no obligation. There's no risk to you in getting that risk assessment with him. And if you go to knowyourriskradio.com, you can get a free common sense investing guide. So even if you don't want to talk to him, why not at least get his free common sense investing guide and just look for his tips in that? It's free. Again, no obligation. You can do it by going to knowyourriskradio.com, or you can just call 866-779 risk.
Advisory services offered through Trek Financial LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. The opinions expressed in this program are for general informational purposes only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual or on any specific security. Any references to performance of securities are thought to be materially accurate, and actual performance may differ. Investments involve risk and are not guaranteed. Past performance doesn't guarantee future results. Trek 24308.
That's a mouthful right there.
Black Book.
FBI.
But who? That is that. I mean, there's.
Oh, that's under direct control of the director of the FBI. Just like the manifesto from the Nashville school shooting of the Catholic school.
Yeah.
We still haven't seen that, right? It's not the Nashville police or PD saying we don't want this out. The FBI airmailed into that operation and said this is not getting out. Because they do that because this is another government gangster operation. All these local law enforcement communities get funding from the DOJ and FBI for local programs. And if you don't cooperate, you're not getting your $1 million for this, and you're not getting and that's a lot of money to these local districts. That's how they play the game. That's why you don't have a black book. Or the manifesto.
But the black book, it's not just sitting. I mean, that's Hoover power times 10.
And to me, that's a thing I think President Trump should run on. On day one, roll out the black book. And not just that. On day one, roll out all of the text messaging communications we were told were deleted. On day one, play the rest of the video of the pipe bomber. On day, one of the reforms I talk about in government gangsters is you need a central node to be continuously declassifying. This is another thing they do. They overclassify. And I'm telling you, as a former number 2 in the IC, they overclassify 50% of the stuff there to protect the deep state. Oh no, you can't see that. Nothing to see here. Gina was a master at it, of doing it. And we still haven't seen half of the Russiagate report that we wrote. Still under lock and key. On how the ICA was originally constructed. We put 10,000 man-hours against John Brennan's team that did it. And we found out why they came up with their bogus conclusions. But we couldn't sell it to the world because we couldn't talk about it. And the government gangsters came in and buried it.
See, that's the thing, is that we pay for all these people. We should have transparency in all of this stuff.
Yeah. So, well, and isn't it interesting too, because the whole thing with the pardoning Hunter Biden too, it's because Kash Patel is the guy. And Joe Biden is freaking out about all the investigations that Kash could lead into the Biden family. Mm-hmm. That's one reason he pardoned him this early, because there was think about it, like now we're talking about it. The rest of the media is talking about how Joe Biden pardoned Hunter. He knows that everyone is going to say, everyone's going to point to the fact that Joe Biden said over and over for the past several months, I'm not going to pardon him. I'm not going to commute a sentence. I'm not going to pardon him. And now everyone's saying he went back on his word. He's a big fat liar. And why would he put himself through that now when he could have waited until January 19th or January 20th and pardoned him with like a whole slew of other people, all on a big list where it wouldn't have been as big of news? Yeah, it's because he's so nervous about Kash Patel.
Oh my God. He, along with a gajillion other people, are shitting themselves today. Yeah, because of Kash Patel. And I'm sorry, I got this out of order, but I think this one is now Andrew McCabe on CNN.
For the men and women of the FBI, and also for the nation that depends on a highly functioning, professional, independent Federal Bureau of Investigation. The fact that Kash Patel is profoundly unqualified for this job is not even like a matter for debate.
Oh my God.
So I think what we should really be thinking about right now is, what does this signal in terms of Donald Trump's intent for the FBI.
Well, we know.
The installation, or the nomination, I guess we should say at this point, of Kash Patel as FBI director can only possibly be a plan to disrupt, to dismantle, to distract the FBI, and to possibly use it as a tool for the president's political agenda.
Oh my God!
No, that's what's been
as an
happening.
organization, we know what that
these people
looks like. This country has been there before.
Yeah,
Oh
we
my
know what it looks like because
God.
that's what he's been doing for the past couple years. We know what it looks like, Andy.
How do they say that? How do they not hear the words that are coming out of their face?
It's
my
all
God.
pure projection. And they talk about like the FBI. What is it? They have like 30,000 employees or something. Is that right? 30,000.
I don't even
employees?
know. Is that right? That's insane.
They won't have that soon because I think that's part of the point is they want to pare it down. They want to like make they got to cut the fat on a lot. Like again with the Doge.
Yeah.
They need to go in there and he's going to say, what exactly do you do here? That's part of it. They're crapping their pants just because of that alone. And then then they can get into the corruption part of it.
Right.
Because there's that too. But my God, so many of these people just have these cush jobs. They're just sitting around like in the Hoover building, right? He's like, you need to get out and you need to go be cops because that's what you are. Go do your job. And if you can't do your job, go find something else to do.
Yeah.
They're crapping for so many reasons. So that's that. I think Bill Barr is another person that hates this guy.
Really?
Uh-huh. And
Special housing unit of federal lockup in Manhattan.
How do we know he was murdered?
Oh, well, look into it, dude.
It's Epstein.
We did a whole segment on it on my show. Nobody cared.
I'm going to watch it after.
You should. It's beyond belief. And I'm very skeptical of any kind of conspiracy theory or whatever.
Why don't more people go after this, though?
We know that he was murdered because, well, for one thing, a friend of mine's one of the people who last talked to him on the phone the day he was killed. And he had a expectation of a bail hearing in 2 days. He thought he was getting out. He was not despondent at all. I talked to his lawyer, told me the same thing. They moved someone out of his cell. They put two people, one of whom was not even a full-time prison guard, on duty. None of the cameras trained on the cell worked. They were all out of it that night. They locked the front of the special housing unit that had 8 cells in it, but then they opened all the cells inside. So who was it? So I asked a really simple question, the Bureau of Prisons. Who were the other? So there are 8 cells, 16 minus his cell because he was alone. So that means there are 14 other inmates there that night. What are their names? Where'd they go? Some of them are transferred out right after. Who were these people? Can't tell you that. Really? You can't tell me that? Well, on the basis of what? Because some inmate at a federal prison's privacy concerns, like Trump telling, what are you even talking about? Meanwhile, the Attorney General of the United States under Trump, Bill Barr, issues a statement being like, no, it's totally. Bill Barr lied. There's no question that Bill Barr, he clearly suspected Epstein was murdered, but stopped the investigation into it. I went and read Bill Barr's book in which he explains all this, and it's like complete bullshit and transparent bullshit. So I have no idea why the Attorney General of the United States would be lying about this, but there's literally no question that he did. I know him. So Bill Barr's super nice guy. We reached out to Bill Barr like, hey, why don't you come on and explain why you lied about Jeffrey Epstein's death? No.
Sorry, his voice has cracked me up. So Bill Barr, he was talking about Bill Barr and Epstein. I just think it's really interesting that Bill Barr hates this pick. Why would he hate that pick? Well, I mean, Tucker gives you insight into why he hates that pick. And there's just so much shadiness in our government, you guys. There's so much stuff that goes on behind the scenes. I just get it out there. You know what I mean?